At the end of the last episode, I had said that I'd wanted to talk about a silly mistake that I'd made the day before. Yeah, well, a lot of you picked up on that. In fact, I even got a comment or two on it. Now, I'm going to show you an actual photograph taken on the Bismarck. The photographer would have been standing about right here, where I'm touching the deck. And the camera is looking out this way. If the turret was on here, you'd be able to see the barrels on the model, but you can see it in the real photograph. So that's missing. However, watch for this mine cutter cable and the McDonald's arches. You'll see that quite clearly in the photo. Now take a look right here. Notice what we did? Yeah. I put that piece on upside down. Yeah, I don't know if I should break that little speaker off and turn it right side up and glue it back on the right way, or just leave it because nobody's going to see it anyway. However, we are now at the very last post on the stern of the ship. Now, these top three rails that you see right here, we are going to be fastening them to the legs of the flagpole or whatever, this thing that's at the back. But this bottom rail, I think it should be nipped off, probably about 2 millimeters from the post. We can sort of use it to go down and maybe just sort of fill the crack that is formed here between the deck and the hull. Let's just see if I can just sort of eyeball it here. Now, I don't want to be cutting the wrong one. Oh, I almost got it. How come it didn't go all the way through? There we go. Okay, now we'll just sort of tuck this in just a little bit here. Well, maybe I can poke it in afterwards. Get some weight on this and push it down. Get it in the right place. Kind of wants to spring up in the air, doesn't it? Now, maybe what I should be doing is I should be bending these around out of the way. I didn't do that on the bow, and they were catching on this stuff here. And they got themselves, you might say, bent out of shape again. So let's just get these out of the way. I can always carefully bend them back later. Be one of the last things we do. There, just get this out of the way here. Yeah, I know they're not going to get damaged. Now we'll put our pusher downer on here and see if we can adjust everything. Not too hard, it'll crush it. That looks pretty good. Except for that little bottom rail sticking up there. I should maybe see if I can push that down yet. Well, helped a little bit. I don't think I got very much on my applicator. Okay, I did that time. Ooh, it kind of pushed it the wrong way, didn't it? Let's come in from this angle and shove it back. Okay. It's going to adhere now. Well, that is it for the port side. We can now start on the starboard side here. And I think what I'm going to do is the port side we went from bow to stern. I think the starboard side here we will go from stern to bow. And the reason being is I want to make sure that when I come to the last post here, so to speak, which if I'm going from stern to bow, will be the first post. I want it to be in the same position, in other words, mirror image to this one right here that we just glued on, so that they match up. Otherwise it's going to maybe look a little bit funny for anybody that happens to look at it closely. Okay, we've done this at least twice before, but let's do it again just for the fun of it. Now let us assume that we're going to lose 2 sections off of each rail. We might lose 3 off of some depending on how it goes. So that means that each rail will cover just a little over 7 3/4 inches. So it's 7.75 times, okay, there's 1 there, and there's 7 on this side, so that's 8. Okay, that comes to 62. And what did we conclude that the distance around the outside was? 51.5. So it looks like we're going to have enough, unless, we really waste them. So those people, or who somebody was suggesting that somebody had said, you know how it goes, that the Trumpeter did not include enough railing. Well, one of 2 things: either they're really wasting it, or maybe I've missed some places that I'm supposed to put it, but I don't think so. I very carefully checked everywhere. Anyway, let's get on with it, and we'll just start right here. Now, if this fair lead is the same distance back from the stern as this one over here, when we put this railing along, the posts should match up at the far end there, at the stern. I'm guessing probably we should maybe nip this one right here. I think that would be right. I'm just going to get a bit of a different angle going here. All right, I would think that if we take the bottom 2 rails off of this one right here, so maybe I'll just try and nip it so I can see it better later. There we go. Take those bottom 2 rails. I think it's going to work out. Okay, the bottom 2 rails over the fair lead have been removed. It looks like it's going to clear. And I have removed the post off the end here, but I have not cut the bottom rail right on the end here to fit. I'm going to leave that until last, just in case there's a slight difference on this side. There could be. Okay. This is where maybe a couple of little pieces of Mark's tape might be a good idea. But we'll just see what happens here. Maybe I should just put little tabs of tape on here just to help hold this so that it doesn't fall off on me when I'm working. I can always remove them again later. Okay. Well, let's get my holder downer right there. Pull it back just a little bit here. Okay. Now we'll just put a little bit on this one post. I'm finding with the bow pointed in this direction, it's a little harder to get the light just right. I'm probably going to have to rearrange my model table a little bit so I can swing the bow a little bit more to the starboard here. Okay, I've swung everything around just a little bit here. What I like to do is have it so that the spotlight shines on the side of the hull as well as the deck. Do I need to shove that in maybe just a little bit here? You're probably really getting sick of watching this. Come on. Sort of spread that out a bit. Now here's where I've had bad luck, where I wasn't being very careful, and the post that the pusher downer was on slipped off the edge of the deck, or the side of the hull, and then it pulled everything crooked. We got a little bit of a problem going on here. No, I seem to be having a problem right here. Okay, I think I can probably get that post down. Better do these last two posts individually, being as we're getting into a bit of a tight curve there. Oh, notice how the bottom rail just sank right into the crack? Maybe that's a little bit too far. I'll back the pressure off just a little bit here. Okay, that should wick its way into the crack there, and I think it'll just stick right about right there. It's not going to move after. Okay, now the last one. Okay, it looks to me like it's pretty much in the same place as the post on the other side. It might have made its way a little bit further to the stern. Okay. I'm going to untangle these loose ends here when we get to putting on that flagpole. And I found a really good photograph. I'm going to swing the camera around so that it'll show on the model at about the same angle as the photograph and give you a bit of a better perspective. But it shows this whole area back here with the flagpole attached. You know, remember it had 4 different legs on it? Well, you can see them quite clearly, and you can also see where these things actually attached to the legs of the flagpole. I keep calling it a flagpole, but that's probably not what they called it. Okay, here we are, page 295 in Stefan's book. And here it is. Number 24. And number 24 is the ensign staff, or ensign. No, it wouldn't be ensign, ensign. How can you tell I never sailed on a ship? Now, interestingly enough, the very same thing on the bow is called something else. Number 7, jackstaff. I'd have never thought of that. Why did they just call it a flagpole? Okay, about that picture I was telling you about that shows the how the railings attached to the ensign staff, or what did they call it? Ensign something. Anyway, doesn't matter. Flagpole. The cameraman was standing right about here where I'm touching the deck, and he's looking pretty much straight astern. Now I'm really glad I found this photograph because it shows exactly where the railing, well, I guess it's sort of a chain railing, fastens onto the ensign staff, or at least to the support brackets that hold up the ensign staff. Yeah, and I've got another one that depicts the bow in exactly the same way, and you can see where the railing fastens onto the jack staff. Well, this is the last post on this piece, working towards the bow. And, you know, we're on the home stretch. I don't know how long it's going to take to finish this side, but yeah, we're on the home stretch. You know, far end down there, that's the bow. So I guess we got about another, 45 inches more to go? Anyway, thanks for watching. All being well, we'll see you tomorrow. Maybe we'll get another length on.